feet happy. Let's go. Come on. Where my islanders? Can some of y'all run down here to the front real quick? I gotta know who's in the building. Where my islanders? I need y'all to run down here. Come on, let me see you. Come on, Jehovah, say it.
Jehovah, you
Say it.
I trust
In you.
in you.
Say it, y'all.
Oh Lord, Jehovah, you
I trust. Say it.
I
Show
trust
me how to do it, y'all.
in you.
I believe. Say it. Say it.
I believe you.
I trust.
I trust
Come on.
in you.
Oh, Lord.
Oh Lord, Jehovah, you
Where y'all at? Come on. Come on.
I trust in you.
I believe. Say it.
I believe
You are the God of miracles.
you are the God of miracles.
You are the God of wonder.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. How are you?
Not as good as you.
Listen, I'm doing great. I am doing absolutely great. Welcome back, Mr. Daly.
Come on, catch it, Jehovah.
Jehovah, you
I
Oh,
trust in you.
in you.
Oh, Lord, say it.
oh Lord.
Jehovah, you
I trust.
I trust in you.
I believe. Say it. Everybody say it.
I believe you.
I trust.
I trust.
Let me see the little kumpa. Come on, Joe.
Come over here.
Don't be so stiff.
I can't hear you. Come on.
Shake it, shake it, shake the kumpa. Give me the kumpa.
In you.
What kind of dance they do in Guyana, John?
Give me some volume.
Lord, big God.
You are the God of wonder.
You are the God.
You are the God of wonder.
You are the God of
Say it.
I believe. I believe.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
I believe. I believe. I believe. I believe.
Now everybody get radical for 30 seconds. Come on. Dance on the devil's head. Come on. Come on. Come on. Y'all ain't radical enough over here. Balcony, I can't feel ya.
You know, I love this song. It brings me back to the Caribbean all the time. So this is a nice way to start the summer.
Hey, come on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You were just being blessed by Jonathan Nelson, I believe, right? The island melody version of that. Welcome to the village. That means if we're on the air today, Thursday, that means that it is Thursday, the village time. This is the Village Talk Show right here on 92.1 GD Radio with our host, yours truly, Roderick Daly, our co-host, John Sampson, and our co-hostess, Dr. Joanne Bryan. Welcome to everyone who's joining us out there in your world, whichever you joined us, whether you joined us on YouTube at the Village Talk Show, on Facebook at Roderick Daly, Joanne Bryan, and did we get John up yet? No, we still didn't get John up yet. Soon to be John. So
Soon come.
Right, Tawana St. Paul. And then live stream, you can catch us on TuneIn Radio at GD Radio, Gospel JA, the Bronx, and at whatever media outlet that you need to have us in. Just to inform you that this is the Village Talk Show, where we are dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any point, at any age, starting from today. Success is not just spoken, it is done. What are you doing today to be successful? Are you blaming others, or are you actually stepping out on that branch and not being afraid whether or not the branch will break? What are you doing to be successful? Welcome, handsome and beautiful. Welcome, handsome and beautiful. That's okay, right? Because I don't want no cancel culture, right? Right? I don't want to cancel. Hello, handsome and beautiful. What's going on? Who's that? Always say handsome, John. One of our friends. Every time we talk to him, I don't know.
Debonair, man, debonair.
Right? No. I'm just saying. I don't even remember if he remembers our name half the time, but he'll just say, "Hey, handsome." You remember who that is?
Who?
George Hulse.
Yeah. George Holmes.
Everybody. Hey, handsome. Hey, Joe. What's going on?
I am doing great. I'm excited. Tomorrow's the last day of school. Woo woo! And then I get to spend more time working.
Yes.
But no. It's okay. I am enjoying the last few weeks with my niece and nephew from Florida, Jalen and Araya. So they're excited.
Shout out.
They're excited because they're watching the show and they're like, "Oh my God,
Auntie's on the TV. That's
the
awesome.
interesting thing with them." So impressionable, 3 and 8. So they're excited. Like, how did you do that? So those are the safe and fun times. But yeah, the summer's beginning. So I am looking forward to traveling. That is so important.
That's actually pretty cool. And what about you, John? How's your week going?
You know what? I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling good. Connecticut, the governor signed the bill regarding recreational marijuana. I feel good.
Yeah. Maybe John, you could convince.
I can have a tri-state weed factory. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait. You're talking about the weed.
You tried some?
No. I wanted to say about some of the health food store that I was listening this morning to. Some of the health food store who's actually creating cookies that looks like Oreos and Chips Ahoy and putting it in there, same label and everything, but just the wording's a little different. So we got to be careful with that. Yes, in the process.
Leave them alone.
Listen.
Let them take some weed, man. Go away, man.
Listen.
You're on your tidy, whatever. Let them smoke some weed, right, John? Let them eat some weed. Take it in. Leave them alone.
So wait, you would be okay with your child going to the store or a health food store and seeing something that looks like Oreos or Chips Ahoy and, picking it up, and it's not a problem, right?
It would be very irresponsible of the store owner to make a
He did not know. The store owner did not know. Claims.
But Doc, there are cigarettes always on display. There is beer, liquor on display at some of these establishments. So I think we just have to go about making sure we educate our children. That's all.
Okay. And just make sure they're safe.
Of course they're going to be safe.
The most important thing is to
maybe they need to put some. What's your favorite food? Maybe we need to put some in your favorite food.
Stew peas.
All right, we'll put some in your foods. Maybe can see the joys that you're missing.
I'm not missing nothing.
Guys, you know what's funny to me, John? When people made a comment, if you've never had something, how do you know you're not missing?
I'm not missing anything.
Huh?
Lord, I'm good.
On the Facebook.
Doc, you are you are good. You will always be good.
Thank you.
A little bit of weed does not make you better.
It makes you stronger. Hey, kumbaya, man.
It makes you wiser.
How you mean? All right, make you shake a little, make you loosen up a little.
I don't need to be no loosen. I'm good the way I am. Thank you, Lord.
You need to loosen up a little and
leave me alone.
No, we're not leaving you alone. We want you.
I don't want to be like you, so I'm good. I'm good.
Why like me? Why can't you be like John?
I don't want to be like John, hanging out and going to Connecticut to go for his specials. No, I'm good the way I am.
I don't have to go to Connecticut. I can go right here in New York.
Because it's legal in New York. Legalize the herb.
Or I could go next door to New Jersey.
Yes. Or Pennsylvania. There's something I was looking up today. How do you find Andre, can you do me a favor? Look right here for me and just tell me how you come up with the birthdays. Right. Just tell me the list of all I have 14 birthdays today. So I'm going to say shout out to everyone who's having
14 birthdays.
14 birthdays of friends. 2 right off the top of my head that I know. My girl June Prasad.
You know what? On a serious note.
Hold on, let me just say the birthday shout out first.
The 14 list.
Right, not the whole thing. I'm going to go through a lot of them, but first I want to say shout out to my girlfriend June Prasad. Today's her birthday. Also, my cousin's mother, Sonia Reeves, that's her birthday also today. So I'm saying shout out. And when I get around to the rest of them, I'll let you know. Yeah, John, on a serious note, what's the serious note?
On a serious note, my prayers go out to those individuals in Miami, Florida.
Oh, yeah. The fifth. How many people are still missing? They said now
91. 90.
The death toll went up to 3 when I last checked. I don't know what the number is right now. No, 91 missing, but they said the death was 3. Wow. Right. And
it's just numbers. It's just amazing. I mean, I can't even imagine.
But
you go to sleep, the next day it's like an earthquake. And really, next thing you know,
you're
under
you're sleeping and falling.
You're under piles of rubble.
Yep. I saw the news where a guy came and pulled out a 10-year-old kid from the rubble. So, that was that kid's guardian angel, but his mother was still inside. They couldn't find his mama,
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. They mentioned that the building started to sway. That's red flag right there.
But no, let's go even deeper. The building is going under inspection. And the building is only 40 years old. It's going under inspection right now. Wow. And so whatever violations or whatever the case is, they can't find the owner, they said. They're trying to reach out to the owner.
Hopefully the owner's not part of that.
No, the owner doesn't live there. Well, we don't know if he was there at that point, or if they were there at that point, but the owner doesn't even live in Florida.
Yeah, they're going to be missing for a while.
Yeah.
No part of that, unfortunately.
But prayers go out to those, their families, their loved ones.
Yeah.
Let's just keep them in our prayers.
Yep, and we 100%.
And you know what? And you know something also. I hate to get on this topic, but we need to. I was just watching CNN about that young man who got shot and killed over some jewelry.
Yes.
34 years old.
Right? The one in the Bronx, the black man with the BMW.
Yeah.
They hijacked the car. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it today. I saw it earlier this week, but yeah, I saw that.
What the heck is going on?
Well, yeah.
So let's get that to a bigger topic now. Crime in New York.
No, we're gonna get to that. But let's get to the votes first, and then we get to the topic. Right? Let's start with the vote. Because that's another big thing. So let's start with that, and then we get because the crime in New York is gonna give us a little more time to have a long conversation, right? But so
Doc, what you thought about the elections, Doc?
Yeah, what do you thought, Doc?
It was interesting. I voted. That's all that matters. I voted, and my vote counts. That's it.
Wait, Doc, are you going to be one of those persons who go, I voted for who I voted for, and I don't need to share because it's my right to vote?
Exactly.
John, what are we going to do with her, man? What are we going to do with her, dog?
It's called democracy, Rudy. Democracy.
I know, right? Let's put her in a dictatorship state, man, because that's where she needs to live.
Nah, I ain't going to do that to the Doc.
Right? But on a serious note, people learn. We might be joking about this, but learn that your right to vote is one of the primary rights that you have. And I hate to say it, John, but I hate to see, and I know it's their right? But I hate to hear when a person says, oh, I don't vote.
Hey, I have no problem. If you don't want to vote, you have no right to complain.
Exactly.
So don't even, live your life.
And they're the ones who sit in these conversations like, oh, can you believe the crime? Can you believe the this? Can you believe the that? Can you believe the state of education? Can you believe the state of this? And but you don't want to vote. So you just take anything that anybody gives you. So you have no right, just like you said, no right to complain. So let's just go over the data just for real fast. So let's start at the top with the mayoral race. Eric Adams is way ahead, right? So
I wouldn't say way ahead, but
he's
Eric
way ahead. He's way ahead.
has 32%.
He's up by 80,000.
Wow.
He's
ahead by 75,000 votes.
Right. Yeah, a little more than that. But the truth of the matter is, yes, the likelihood that he can lose is true with the ranked choice voting, which is one of the things I want to tell people. So the final result will come out on July 12th, Andre. That's the date. So July 12th, everybody will know. So basically, the top 5 people right now, and not the percentages, Eric Adams, Maya Wiley, Catherine Garcia, Andrew Yang, and Scott Stringer. Now,
Andrew Yang is not counted, please.
No, he is still counted, right? He is still counted. Even though he concession doesn't mean
his votes is his third place votes still count.
Right, exactly. So all of them still count. So they still matter. He just can't pull his numbers out. So he still can have an impact on the race. You know, and I want to touch on the Maya Wiley thing when we get to the crime thing in New York, John. So don't let me forget that. And then for public advocate, congratulations to my boy, Jamani Williams, right? Jamani Williams today is today on Tuesday. He won that race. Congratulations to him. So he doesn't have a runoff because if you get 50% plus one, there's no need for ranked choice voting because nobody could beat 50% plus one.
Right.
For the Manhattan District Attorney, we have a real race up there. Alvin Bragg, he's now the front runner, followed by Tali Weinstein, and then I hopefully I pronounce Tahani Abushi, John.
Yeah, she used to work for me.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, is that the right pronunciation?
Yes.
Tahani Abushi, and then we have Lucy Yang and Diane Florence. She's in 5th place for Manhattan Bar President. I don't remember who's in 2nd place right now, but I know 1st place. Did you put it up on there? Is it Manhattan Bar President? Is this? So for Manhattan Bar President, okay, for Manhattan, we have Mark Levine is in 1st place at 28%, followed very closely by Brad Hallman, who's at 25%, and then 3rd is Lindsey Boylan, and then the others, the 3rd, the 4th, and 5th place are just too far behind. They're not going to catch up. They're going to be dropping out. For Manhattan, for Queens, Donovan Richards is in the front by 1.53%, right? 1.5% between Elizabeth Crawley, the former congresswoman out there who Ocasio beat 2 terms ago to become the congresswoman in Queens out there. And then 3rd is Van Bremer. That's going to be that's race right there is going to be a tight race, John, because Van Bremer has no chance of winning, right? No chance.
But where does his 2nd place?
Exactly. Where does his 2nd place votes go? And that's where that important.
And where does Crowley's 2nd place vote? Who do they go to?
Right. But it goes the same thing for Donovan. So it really means what happens to John James with Jim Bremer. So his votes, it will determine who becomes the next Queens Bar president. And again, we go back to when we say to people, "Oh, I don't vote because my vote don't count." This is a very clear example
of where your vote counts.
That your vote count. Brooklyn Bar president, we have Antonio Reynoso is in right now with 1st place, up by approximately 33,000 votes. Give and take 100 at 28%. Robert Carnegie is at 19%. Joanne Simon is at 17%. Matthew Eugene is at 8%. And Carrie Edwards is at 6.3. You know what I'm happy about with that? Not happy about the results, right? Because but my boy Carrie, who never got elected, never ran in a race before, really showed out, even though he didn't win. You get what I'm saying, John? He really
100%.
showed out by in the top 5, right? In the top 5. And you had the people that were on there that was running that were more seasoned.
All elected officials.
Right. And for him to come out and do that shows that his agenda was a very good one. We have for controller, very upset that my boy Kevin didn't make the top 5. But right now the number 1 is Brad Lander. Number 2 is Corey Johnson. Brad Lander out of Brooklyn. Corey Johnson out of Manhattan. Michelle Caruso Cabrera, I don't know. Is she out of the Bronx?
No, she's out of. I don't know where she's out of. She used to be. She's a television person now, a news person.
Okay, got you. And then Brian Benjamin is for David Weprin, who's from Brooklyn. And Kevin Parker is number 6. So Kevin is off the ballot right now because they don't go with the top 5, and then from there you do your ranked choice voting. Will let everybody know. Did I miss it? Yeah, I'm right here in the 46. Well, in the 46, congratulations to my girl Mercedes. That's an expression to Mercedes Narcisse, who can you pull that up on Mercedes for me? I think she's at 39% or 38%.
Hey, let me tell you something about that race. You had very talented participants in that race. I mean, absolutely. Everyone from Shirley Paul to Gardy to Newton to.
You're coming in low, John. You're coming in low.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
We had some very.
You went back low.
Talent.
You went back low again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, stay right where you are right now. Now we can hear you.
You had great talent in that 46 councilmatic race.
Absolutely.
And Mercedes worked hard. She's been at it for a long time.
Yep.
And as I told her, I said nothing happens before your time, and this is your time.
Yeah. And so kudos to her.
Just like it will be Doc's time one day when she smokes some ganja weed.
Yeah,
it will be her time.
Yeah, you know what?
I have to make sure my niece and nephew knows Auntie is not smoking anything at all.
They don't know that already.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Auntie don't smoke anything. She don't do anything illegal. Thank you.
No, check out how she pulls her hair out. You see that?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, John. Disclaimer. Doc, we know you don't do not even illegal or legal. We know you don't do nothing. Don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Right? You can actually walk on a tightrope. Because
hey Doc, I dropped some off later for you.
Also, I want to say, I wish it was a little bit better for her. My girl Tiffany over there in that race as well.
Talented sister, talented.
It's funny. I Tiffany for me, John. I feel like she had a very good platform. A very good platform that would have been, pretty awesome. But she had a very good platform. My boy Harold, out there in Queens, and again, yeah, I see it. Yeah, my boy Harold in District 27. You know what else I realized too, John?
What?
I don't know if you noticed that the mayor's candidates, except for Mercedes, didn't do well. Did you notice that? The mayor's candidate?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't. Anybody coming out of his office didn't do well. Chris Dorsini didn't do well. Tahira Moore, I believe that's a lot of the people who's coming out of office, they didn't do well at all. I don't know if that's is that a representation of him? It's just, or did a lot of people maybe say, okay, I'm coming out of the mayor's office, I'm going to win, so they might not have worked as hard. Although I can't really say that because I know Harold worked really hard. So I can't say, I know that doesn't apply to him. And I know Mercedes worked, but Mercedes wasn't in his office. She just got endorsed by him. And the other thing that surprised me too in the election is that in the 40th with Rita Joseph, I don't know, she's pulling it out like that, right? And so that's a good race. So we'll find out July 12th. I don't like how Eric is talking now though, like he's the mayor. I think like he needs to
tone it down.
I don't want to say tone it down.
Humble himself.
No, I'm not going to say humble himself either. I don't want, because even though he might win the Democratic primary, don't take for granted that Curtis Leawood won't come out. Right. Because Bloomberg wasn't he wasn't a Republican when he won in 2001. It was a Democrat that went to Republican, went on the Republican side and won the race.
And remember, a lot of people still support Giuliani and Trump.
Yeah.
So a lot of Republicans want Republican back in power.
And a lot of people, and even some of those people who voted for, who didn't vote for Eric, right? Won't, if he talks like that, sometimes he might lose a few votes. So I need Eric to be in because he's a very good brother. And for me, and for my part, my personal knowledge of him, that's a very good brother, and that's what needs to get done. All right, so we don't want to
wait before you leave that topic. The fact that our governor spoke about him yesterday and today, how do you think that will impact him?
Well, the governor is a very popular governor, despite those situations going on.
Of course.
So that's, I mean, basically, I felt like it was a job at Bill, though. It was a jab at Bill. Bill de Blasio, because of their poor relationship. So I said, like, he's saying like, oh yeah, I finally have somebody in here that I can work with. I think that's one of those political jabs.
It's fighting, so I said,
so I know that our guest is supposed to be here in a little bit, right? Yeah, it's 7:47. So am I reading that wrong? Is that 7:47, 7:48? Unless I'm reading wrong. Am I reading wrong? Oh, that says 7:28, right? I need my glasses. Give me my glasses, man. Let me
I tell you join the crew and you don't want to participate all the time.
All right.
It's all good. It's all
right. I don't need my glasses like that now. It's in the small part at the front, right? So at the end of the day, so that's kind of tough. So let's just see if we can get a couple more. Wow, it's dirty. Tissue or nothing. So the next one of the big things, let's go to crime right away.
Wait, before you go to crime, what happened to the judge?
What judge?
The election.
Oh, we didn't talk about the judges.
That's important. I want to know who.
You know what else I want to bring up too? I wish John was here for that. I'm remember to bring up Rod Neese. Bring that up when John comes back, right? I don't know what happened. Sometimes you might have got disconnected, but let's bring that up. But Keisha Aline, congratulations to her.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she won. Yeah, but Dwayne Paul got hammered. She got hammered really badly.
He didn't win.
Not even close.
Oh.
It's not even that she didn't win. It wasn't even close.
Oh.
Like Inga. Hold on 1 second. One second.
Wow.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joanne. Take it away for a minute.
That was, I was rooting for her, Dwayne Paul, but unfortunately, she didn't win. But we are proud of Keisha Elaine coming from Brownsville, going back to serve in Brownsville. You should be definitely. We're excited for you, and going from there.
What about Brownsville, Doc? What's up with Brownsville?
Keisha Elaine, she won.
Yeah, I heard she did extremely well.
Listen, represent Brownsville, came back to
the hood.
Hey.
Represent the hood.
Hey, all the way. So, yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Brownsville, so that's all good. John, are you still there? So Dwayne, wow, got 37.5% of the votes. Wow. I was really rooting for her. And Rosemary, 62 plus. Oh yeah, she got crushed. Unfortunately, I guess we won't see our girl at the surrogate.
Yeah, John. So this is what I wanted to bring up, right? And
He's frozen. He's
oh, it's
frozen.
frozen. Oh, so
Yeah,
you can't even hear.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'll come back to that. He's gone again. Yeah, he's still frozen. All right. So let's go on to another topic and then we come back to that. All right. So we have the crime now is getting out of hand.
It's been out of hand.
Yeah, but it's getting that expression getting out of hand is bad, right? When you really look at it, murders are up 53% since 2019. Shootings are up over 100% since that same time. And with summer now, where you have in the summers you have a lot more violence because people are outside. You expect that even a greater spike. So now it has actually caught the eyes of the president. But then for me, and I know I supported her a little bit, right, with one of the mayoral candidate, right, is talking about defunding the police and all this foolishness about defunding the police that's affecting our community, especially communities of color. You don't hear. It sounds bad, but you don't hear in certain communities that shootings are happening. Where do you hear them? In the same communities that she's walking in to talk about defunding the police, in communities in the Bronx, in Bushwick, where they're over policing, where people are dying every day. 10-year-old, 17-year-old man. What the 48-year-old neighbor stabs the 15-year-old kid and kill him.
Well, we're gonna have to come
shoot in the Bronx.
That in itself is a whole nother monster, because some of the ways and strategies that different states are taking, especially Chicago. I was looking at some of the reforms that they were looking into and implementing and trying to alleviate some of the crime that's taking place. I'm just waiting to hear what New York is about to do, waiting and waiting and waiting. So anyway,
to me, that's just crazy though. When you're talking about defunding, now I 100% agree that there needs to be better oversight in the police force,
right?
But I 100% disagree about no foolish argument about defunding no police. I told people all the time that generally the people who are the students who say they don't want deans in school? The students who are being bad. The students who have something to hide. When my boy comes on, right, our guest, when Sean comes on and we bring him on screen, he's going to be on the fuel. I want to ask, because we went to My 11 together, right? Mm-hmm. We look forward to the dean because we know we weren't up to nothing. We weren't up to no good. So we hung out with the dean. We chilled. He was the one that provided certain opportunities for us. And up till today, the dean and I are still friends. Right? You get what I'm saying? So like when I see UYC or get rid of police out of school, those things piss me off. Because the average student who goes to school and wants to do what they want to do want to be protected.
Absolutely.
So the communities that are not asking for defunding the police, they don't have a lot of crimes. Not that they don't have any crimes, because nobody would say anything stupid like that, right? Mm-hmm. But the level of crime and the murder rate is not happening in those affluent communities who want policing, who want community policing.
Well, the sad thing about it is the funding has been reshifted, but in a way that impact all of us. And our quality of life has definitely changed in New York. The quality.
People are afraid.
Yeah.
The police are afraid.
Yeah, because here's the thing. They don't want to risk it because, sorry to say, if they do something, then they're going to be penalized. Then they feel they're not going to be backed up. Then they feel that, hey, you know what? I'm being attacked all the time. So why should I put my life at risk? So you're damn if you do, you're damn if you don't.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that you do not do your job. That's the
Doc, you attack me all the time, and I try to do my job on the radio here, but you attack me all the time.
I got the correction, Simone. Actually, I didn't even know I said that. All right. So I got you. Thank you, Simone, for that. I love me some Simone. Love me some Simone. I use the real word for upset, but you can use that word in the air, Simone. It's not a bad word to use that word. Being upset, but it really is kind of, again, the community that's asking for defund the police are the communities who are dying right now from all of this crime. I called the police the other day, right? There was an incident, and I called the police. I am so happy that nothing transpired, right? So the situation, and that's the other thing too, like, why happened to just talking? Why is it that you have to come up and be angry? The lady comes up and she's upset that these guys are doing this one thing. But in all honesty, she was uncomfortable, but the guys weren't doing anything. She smoked too much weed, John. Right? So she was uncomfortable, but instead of having a conversation with the people, she came up, jumped into their face, and started yelling in their face. Right? And it's not like the dude, they really didn't respond to her at all. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to do this. You know what? The police was called, right? Because then another person started saying, oh, I'm going to do this and do that and make some threats, right? I'm going to make some phone calls to make a threat. Would you believe that the people she called came, actually handled it how the mom should have handled it? Right? She handled it that way, how the mom should have handled it, and it was squashed, and nothing happened, and the police still didn't come yet.
Right.
But yet still, in these communities, you want to defund the police? You need to get more police out there. So when you make a phone call like that, what if the dude wasn't level-headed at that point and just hear what was happening and say, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna start shooting at people,
right?
Start hurting people, and there's no police, but you want to defund the police, and then you're the same one who's gonna be bawling, oh, my son is dead, my daughter is dead. Where are the police when I needed them? They do all this, but if it's come to kill a black man, they're right here, right? If it's computerized, but you're not out there. I'm saying right now, I want to be protected. In New York City, I can't carry a gun because it's hard as heck to get one, and I can't carry one. So I want my tax dollar pay for my protection. So I don't want no talk about defunding no police unless you're gonna explain it to me in a way like a 6-year-old, where you're telling me that you're putting more police officers on the street and they're getting people are getting protection, and the police officers learning how to deal with the community. That's why I believe strongly in community policing. I do believe that the police need to get out of their office, get out of the building, and know the community, know the hot corners, the bad corners, and do that. Right?
I think Rude Boy. I think it's a combination of things, and this is not only community policing, but also community organizing, getting involved, being the eyes and ears, working together.
Yes.
Those individuals who we see that are in distress, that need assistance, let's get involved. And it's just like the borough president Adams talks about. Let's go, instead of waiting for downstream, let's go upstream. Let's try to prevent them from entering or being involved in the criminal justice system. And this is where the whole allocation of monies and stuff can be utilized to create preventive activities, to assist those who may have an issue of education, may lack the necessary educational foundation that they need. Their parents may need a job. It's a holistic approach. It's a holistic approach that we need to have when dealing with policing. Police officers are one component, but the family unit is another component. The community is another component. The business sector is another component. We need to get all these the educational, the educational pieces is another component. The healthcare is another component. So what we need to do is there needs to be a collaboration with all. And how can we, first of all, prevent those from even engaging in these activities? And if they are in these activities, how can we pull them out and where can we divert them? So it needs to be a holistic approach. The police should be the last result, should be the absolute last result.
I agree.
But however, we expect them to be everything, and they can't be everything. You know, they talk about domestic violence cases. Do you want a social worker coming in and try to? No, you don't want a social worker, but you want to train officers who can de-escalate in situations such as that. You know what I'm saying? And if the situation calls for a professional, allow the professional come in. So, however, you have to be concerned about the professional, so you don't want to put the professional in harm's way.
Exactly.
So there's different approaches that you need to have. And if we see a situation where you see that domestic violence may be simmering in a family, maybe there's ways in which the community might say, you know what, Officer Daly, I think there might be an issue with, Miss Smith and her husband. So maybe at that point in time, maybe we'll just send a social worker, someone along, just checking in and saying, hey, or somebody from the community, or get somebody from the church if they're involved in a church, or somebody if their kids are involved in it. Just, you know what, as we say, let's do we need to start doing wellness checks on families.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know what the issue there, John? Oh, this is my house. That's your house. I'm worried about what's happening in my house.
Exactly.
Not worried about what's happening in your house. Not realizing that what's happening in your house more than likely will affect me in my house. Because
that's why we need to.
But a lot of people don't know that. They don't think that far.
But Roderick, that's why it's important. We go back to the way things when we grew up. We had the block parties.
Yep.
We had block associations.
Yep.
We knew what was going on in the community. We knew what was going on in our block. And this is something we need to go block by block, get those block associations back up. So they get involved in those community boards so we can know at the same time, get the police involved so the police can go, they can be the cop on the block. They can be the cop on the block, the cop in the neighborhood, and also
and they know who John is. Right, they know who John is. So if something's wrong with John, hey John, what's going on?
Because when if I was outside, if it was 9 o'clock and Miss Smith saw me outside, she was like, "Yo, John, you know your mom don't have you outside 9 o'clock.
There you go.
What's going on? You need to get inside."
Yeah, yep. Exactly.
But we lost that. We lost that. We lost that connection. We're so disconnected.
Yep.
I was just thinking
how do we get back to being our brothers and sisters keepers again?
I don't know. That's a good combo.
I think overall, COVID had a way of bringing people back.
Yes.
Out of everything that turned out, people were checking on people. People were calling each other. They actually showed some form of decency. In bad times, you see good things come out. And with the good things come out, you see people compassion, you see people heart at the main of everything. Unfortunately, it takes something tragic for people to actually open up and get back to how we were supposed to be.
But it's only like I'm only getting back to this for right now, and then I forget. Right. And I go back.
So we have to remind the community, we have to remind people, yes, we are getting out of a pandemic, but we're not clear all the way.
Right. And stop this foolish talk about defunding no police. The crime is out of hand. Get more police, get them paid, get to do what we got to do. Listen, we got to move on from this topic.
Wait. That's important.
Wait. You're right. Wait. Go ahead, Doc.
Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead. Finish up.
So just before the whole defunding of the police, I remember one officer said, hey, we were the hero at one point. And unfortunately, one tragedy caused us to go from being a hero to a villain to now not even wanting
to infamy.
Yes. And the sad thing about it is they're still human.
Yep.
People are doing their job. They sacrifice a lot in that process. So in that one person that was categorized is not all bad apples. You know, people are still human. They're still putting their life at risk. You know, there's no guarantee that you're going to come back home. But in that, show respect.
Yeah, but I just want to add something to that, and real fast. People fail to realize that in every profession there are good apples and there are bad apples. There are bad teachers, there are bad pastors, there are bad doctors, there are bad lawyers, and etc. Just look what happened, how underappreciated. Right. And he's still worshipped, right? Look at COVID-19, how the 911 responders, the first responder, felt so underappreciated when people were dying, and it's not even like they could have done anything about it.
Right.
All right, we got to go. We got to move on. So
where we moving on to? Where we moving on to?
Yes, our guest.
Our guest is here. Our guest is here.
Yes.
Wagwan, rude boy. Wagwan.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Just happy to be here. You know, with you people.
Yeah,
love
man.
you people.
Man, yeah,
thank you for having me.
Yeah,
you know, blessed and honored to be on the village. You know, I'm just happy.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know, John.
We happy that you happy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go on into any conversation, I'm proud to introduce everyone to our guests for today, Sean Reynolds. Sean Reynolds is, first of all, he's a Brooklyn boy. But when 911, when COVID came about, he was doing a lot of good things before that. But when COVID came about, he's like, yo, what can I do to help these individuals, the first responders? That's kind of funny that I actually mentioned that without thinking about that. And he decided that this is what he was going to do. So he's going to tell us a little back, and he was featured on Good Morning America. And then we can go back from there. But this is my boy, Sean Reynolds. I mean, somebody who have known more than, I would say, more than 35 years, if it's not more than that. So I'm really proud of him. So Sean, tell us what happened in COVID. I keep saying 9/11. I don't know 9/11's. You know why 9/11 on my mind, because of that, what happened in Miami and the building, and people lost. So that just brought up back that negative memory. So tell us a little bit. What did you decide to do during COVID?
So when COVID hit, you know, I saw a lot of images on TV of frontline workers and first responders being stressed out. You know, I have family and friends who are frontline workers and first responders, and they were calling me and talking and giving me information and just venting about how their day was going and how the days were going ahead. And I felt, hey, what could I do to show these individuals how much we, not me, but we appreciate them and love them for sacrificing their life to help take care of us. Because a lot of times what they're doing, they're not showing any love or appreciation on a daily basis. You know, it's expected that when you go into these facilities that you're going to be taken care of, right? But sometimes it's a thankless job. And especially when COVID-19 hit, I said, what could I do? So I saw people donating food and things of that nature, which was great. I think when COVID happened, a lot of people were focused on the negative aspects of COVID and not thinking about what the positive aspects of this pandemic could be. And out of that, it brought people together, right? So for me, I saw people donating food, but I know, you know, when you eat your food, you sort of like look forward to the dessert, because that's what feeds your soul, right? So I wanted to feed their soul. I wanted to feed them internally, right? And let them know, hey, we appreciate you. So I decided to take my mother's banana bread recipe, whip up some banana bread, and I started with one hospital. And then the goal became to do every hospital in New York City. And since then, you know, I've done every hospital except for 3 in Manhattan and 1 in the Bronx. Right? And then anytime that I travel, I look for a hospital along the route and I donate there. So I've donated to hospitals in Connecticut, Delaware, Jersey, Maryland, not just hospitals, but police precincts, firehouses, nursing homes. You know, I've done over 100 locations and donated over 12,000 banana bread.
Wow.
And in doing that, my dream was always to start my own business. So in doing so, I created the Brooklyn Banana Bread Company.
That's great. I love your shirt too.
Oh, thank you.
All right. You're muted, Roderick. Congratulations, first of all.
Hey,
Thank
Sean.
you. Yes, sir.
I ain't see no banana bread.
Oh, well, you know,
I did,
sometimes
though.
here's what happens.
John. I did, John.
You did. So,
I ain't
but
see
here's,
none of.
Me
I ain't
neither,
see a
John.
morsel.
The 2 J's didn't see it. We didn't see it.
The 2 J's didn't see it. They'll see it real soon. Sooner than they think.
That's what they said about my stimulus check. I ain't see that yet either.
Sean, look on the screen. I'll just read it out. Actually, Joanne, you can read that.
Okay. Oh my God. I wanted to do that, but I didn't know if they would have accepted the food. So I donate to a family shelter and neighbors. So that is true. A lot of places did not accept food or close till this day. So how did you get them to actually say, okay, you know what, we'll receive it from you?
So what I did was I looked for a contact. So I went through my friends and family who are frontline workers and first responders, asked them to reach out and find a contact that they know that works at a hospital, that works at a precinct, that works, you know, in one of those type of facilities. And because I didn't want to just drop it off at the ER, I wanted to look that person straight in the eye and say, hey, we love you. Right. So once I found that contact, then I arranged a date and time and we went and donated a box of banana bread to their unit. So let me more about making that personal connection than just really just donating.
That's, you know,
it's dealing with them eye to eye, in person, face to face, having a discussion and letting them know how we feel about them.
And did you get any negative feedback? Like, you know, what was that like? Was it all good? Was everybody happy go lucky? And also, when you started, this is all your personal money, wasn't it?
Yes, all my personal money. You know, the thing for me is I was raised on strong Christian values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in that, you know, part of that is tithing, right? And tithing gives you, creates the discipline of giving, right? And my mother, she taught me how to give and how to love. My father taught me the importance of hard work and being a good financial steward over my money. So with those values embedded in me, I decided, hey, listen, it's bigger than me. I just want to be able to do my part to help change the world. You know, one time somebody told me, hey, Sean, you know what your problem is? You want to change the world. And you know what? You're right. I do. I'm not concerned about what the other person's doing. I stay in my lane and I do what I can. But I'm here to inspire other people to do what they can. I didn't just jump up one morning and decide to donate 12,000 bread. I've been doing this slowly over the years. And the thing is that I never wanted to be up front. But I guess God saw it fit to take me outside of that box and say, hey, I'm gonna put you up front because I need you to take care of this for me. And I get emotional when I think about it because at the end of the day, people are hurting out there.
So true.
They're hurting. And when we don't help somebody, we're making a conscious decision not to help, especially if you're in a position to help. And as long as I'm in a position to help, I am going to help. Period. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm blessed. I know I can eat. I know I have a roof over my head. I know I have
Sean, you know what? You need to really, really say that again. You know, and we always think of what we don't have and how blessed we are not. But we have to the small things in life just shows you God's blessings upon us.
You know, and the reality of it is that if I give you my last dollar, I know I'm good. I know God got me. But everybody doesn't feel that way or share the same sentiment.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to be taken care of. Why? Because I'm taking care of those who are in need. That's my passion. My passion is to see those who are in need and less fortunate rise above their circumstance. And if I can do something to assist in that manner, then I'm going to do it. I don't care what the obstacle is. I don't care what the roadblock is. I'm going to find a way to do it. Because for me, it's all about love, right? It's so simple to love someone. I'm not talking about, I think people mix up love and in love. In love is the emotional part. Love seeks to benefit the one that's loved at the expense of self. So that means that I'm not expecting anything back from you.
Yes.
I'm not expecting anything back from you. I love you because you're a human being, just like myself. That's all it takes. And to love someone is so simple. I don't understand why we don't love just because. Unconditional love.
Amen. You know, it's kind of interesting. I was just looking at Simone's comment. I remember during the height of COVID, I was outside at school giving out a cooked hot meal, and people couldn't believe it was free. All they were able to eat was a sandwich given out at the school, so they were happy about it. You know, a lot of people were suffering a lot during COVID. And you know, Sean, I know I told you thank you when you came by my house and you brought me that banana bread. I know, but I'm telling you again. No, I know you're smiling, Joe. I not in a bad way, but in a good way, smiling about the banana bread. But you have to understand, John and Joe, I'm gonna ask them to drop off some by the studio. See if he have any more, could drop it off. But when I had it, it was great. But it wasn't just that. It was the fact that my brother came out.
That's it.
And came out, and you know.
What about you?
He knows. Like I said, we've known each other years. We started the Dream program together, taking the kids across. I mean, and tell me to say to Sean, let's do this. Sean, you know, we did the Dream program, help with his child, because at the time he and I both went to my 11 at the same time. A little bit before, after you, John, because you know you're an old fogey, right? But you know, we both went to my 11. His daughter came to my 11. I was his daughter's teacher, and we did whatever. But when he was doing something, and that's why I'm so proud of you, dog, right? Because you didn't just do it for Tangi, right? You did it for every child that was there. Whatever you were doing, yo, let's do this. When I came out and I said, when Jermaine, myself, and Eddie said, let's go ahead and do the educational trip, Sean was on board. Sean was one of my first parents on board saying, let's do this. So he's not blowing smoke when he talk about what he's talking about. So I don't want people to think like he saw this as an opportunity and he was opportunistic. That's not how my brother is. You know what I'm saying?
So let me just say this. Mm-hmm. So in 2019, I got some colleagues of mine together, and we raised $20,000 to feed 500 families in Brooklyn shelters. We partnered with Christian Cultural Center, and we had buses coming from different shelters. We did it across 3 days. And the last day, we had so much food left over because the 2 buses didn't show up that we took it to a shelter on Avenue D in DeWitt. They have 100 units over there. Everybody came down and got food. we had so much food, we had to tell them come back down again. But so that happened in 2019. 2020, COVID came, and I did this. But for me, it's about how I'm being led to move, right? I just don't do things just to do them. I have to be led. And when people call me to do something, I have to feel it within my spirit to do it. You know, every opportunity, although it may sound good and nice and may not be an opportunity for me to get involved. Right. And at the end of the day, I looked forward to 2021 to see what else God would have me to do. Because I'm not doing this out of my own strength, out of my own desire. Right? There is a movement, there's a cause, and there's a purpose behind it. Right? And at the end of the day, you know, yes, I use my own money to do this. Yes, it's helping people. And that's all I want to do is help people.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for a lot of you who think that you don't have a lot to give, Sean is in no way, shape, or form a multimillionaire, right?
Not at all.
I want to make sure that people know that he's like everyone, like all four of us on the show right now, right? So he's doing things, you know, just like how Joanne and John and I are on this radio show giving you information. We don't get paid for this radio show, right? We do it out of the goodness of whatever is happening and bringing all of the information. And he's doing it another way, right? And it's all about what you have the ability to do and to do it. And like you said, being led. So I just, you know, want to make sure that people, you know, like it you know, people sometimes, there's like self-worth. It's purely altruistic in behavior. You know, and that is a real thing. So, you know, we're really, really proud of you. I got a question for you. How did it feel to be on Good Morning America?
Well,
you got the call. Wait, give us some background. When you got the call, tell us about it. How was that?
Right. Before I get into that, let me just say this too, that, you know, people have definitely seen what I've done, and I've offered and have donated to the cause, you know, but vastly it has been out of my own. But that being said, you know, doors have been opening. And the thing is that when you're doing good and you have good intentions, doors are going to open. Right?
Amen.
So, you know, this is a door right here. The village is a door for me. Right? It's a door. It's a blessing to be here. Right? It's just like it was a blessing for Good Morning America. It was a blessing for ABC, Be Kind. And it's because people saw what I was doing and decided to reach out to those different networks and say, hey, this person is doing this. You need to recognize him for doing so. And out of that came Dole, right? The food company. And they decided, hey, you know what? We want to donate some bananas to your cause. So they came on and they started donating bananas, you know? And so this thing just kind of just happened organically.
And God sees what you're doing and say, hey, let me continue to bless you.
Right.
You know?
You know, so
awesome.
it's been a blessing. It's, for me, I get unspeakable joy out of doing it. And I tell people all the time, if you help someone and you don't feel good about it, then you're doing it with the wrong intention.
That's true.
Yeah, you know, before you get to the Good Morning America thing, I want to say something to you, Simone. I know that you do the 8 o'clock Bible study at this time because, you know, we know you try. And thank you for your support. I appreciate that. But I want to say this is also kind of like the things that you've been studying in the Bible is what's coming to fruition right now, because it helps you to see that what you were trying to do, somebody else was trying to do it and trying to do it as well. So I just want to make sure that I'm humbled. I know Sean is humble because Sean doesn't know your background like that, but that you are listening to the story, because this is a way of showing the manifestation of the words of the Bible that you are studying to see the actual manifestation of what is happening. So I would just want to say thank you Thank you for that. And yes, just like you said, the floodgates of heaven opens when you do good from your heart. And my brother Jermaine always say, I don't mind paying tithes because I get it back full
Of course.
full double portion of blessings, which is also biblical. But go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, so the Good Morning America thing came with again, people just seeing what I'm doing and reaching out to these news outlets and telling them the different and then so I did Good Morning America, did ABC, and then I also did Channel 2 news. But
I'm saying for a person who's never gotten that call.
Yeah, but
when
you know what?
Got the call.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, like, for the audience out there, tell us what that felt like when you got the call. Like, what was your first? And then to know that you're going on Good Morning America. I don't know if you went in the studio. I don't remember if you went in the studio.
No, I didn't go. They featured me on it, but let me tell you something. Every time somebody's called me and said, "Hey, I want to donate," every time that I've been on a show, including this, I cried like a baby because I realized that it's only God why these things are happening, right? Because for me, I don't like the attention. I don't want the attention because, again, it's not about me, right? So when I get the call, the first thing I say is, "Thank you, God." And my eyes well up with water and I just start tearing. And then I'll call people who are close to me and I'll tell them because I don't take it lightly. And at the end of the day, I want to be a good example. No matter where I go, no matter who I speak to, no matter what platform I'm on, I want to be a good example. I don't want to come on there talking foolishness. I want to be able to inspire, educate, and bring people together so that we can now help each other. So awesome. Yeah. So when I got the call, I felt great, but I was humbled at the same time.
Absolutely.
And was just, and to be honest, to some degree, nervous.
I got you.
Because I've never done that before. I've never been featured before. What do I say? Make sure that, hey, make sure that my I shave my head. Make sure
Let me show you this. Let me show you this very handsome brother, man. Let me just hold on. I'm trying to get you on the big. I can't get you on the big screen. I'm trying to make you the big guy, but it won't show up. But it's a handsome brother. I'm just saying. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You see exactly what it looks like right there. Teresa, I don't understand your question. You said, ask Sean, how can I some banana bread? So you're missing a verb in there. How can I can some banana bread? So there's a verb in there that's missing. So I'm not sure.
He wants to get some banana bread. Maybe
I don't know. It could be get. It could be. I don't know. So I don't want to assume what the verb that she's missing. I don't want to do that. But so if you just send me back the message, I'll ask Sean. Sean,
I have a question for him.
Sure.
Do you find that in your giving that is contagious, that other young people, that how has it impact younger folks and how has it impact other people around you? Do they actually turn around and say, hey, you know what? I want to start. Usually giving is contagious, or doing good is always contagious. Have you seen that?
Well, I've seen people want to give, right? So that's where the donations at times come in, where they say, hey, how can I donate? Everybody's way of participating in giving is different. Some people donate their time, some people donate their money, and I've gotten phone calls from, people I haven't spoken to, classmates that Roderick and I have had over the past 30 years that I haven't spoken to in decades, saying, hey, I love what you're doing. I want to assist, so that part of it I've seen. as far as
doing something else in regards to that, because now that you have the platform of the banana bread, has it led to it triggering or opening up the doors, not quite, but just igniting the fire of others to do other things in the community?
Yeah, so I've seen people come up and ask me how can they, when I say how can they help outside of the donation part, right? What can they do, you know, in the community? They were thinking about doing this, you know, and what I end up doing is encouraging them to do whatever it is that's upon their heart to do, you know. So there has been conversations that I've had with different individuals, and they have gone off to do other things, whether it be donated their time at nonprofits, whether it be I spoke to one individual. He has a bread route, right? And we were talking, and he said, "Hey, you know, I love what you're doing." And I hooked him up with a young lady who has a nonprofit out in Brownsville, right? And connected them too. And now he drops off bread to her food pantry, you know, so that that bread could be given out in the community. And actually, when he went the first time, he actually stayed out there and had fun with them and stuff like that. So I've seen people get on board and start to do some of the things that that probably they wanted to do, but didn't feel that they could do it or didn't have the push to do it, but saw what myself and others like me are doing and say, "Hey, you know what? Let me get up and do something."
You triggered that movement. So you would call it a movement in regards to not just sit there, not just say, "Hey, I want to do something," but actually taking that step, that first step. So you were holding their hands to say, "Hey, you know what? We could do this." It might not be the same. It might not be the same path that I walk, but do something. And that's what we were discussing earlier. How can we go back to a time when we were all one happy community, you know, block association, block parties, or whatever? So what you're doing is starting a movement, like people would say. You know, small act of kindness, small act of love becomes bigger. You know, love that's spread, that's contagious. So
so the person wanted Teresa want to know how can she purchase some banana bread. That was where it came from.
Okay, so Teresa, so, you can either reach out to myself on social media at Brooklyn Banana Bread, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, or you can reach out to me at orders at brooklynbananabread.com.
Also, our former principal and friend asked a question. I don't know, Joanne, go ahead.
Would you ever consider going commercial with the products? Part of the proceeds can be used for I can never say that word. Okay. Donating event. There you go. It's a tongue twister for me. Thank you.
So the business is not a nonprofit. The business started and is on the foundation of giving back, right? But it's not a nonprofit. So yes, at the right time, the business would go full commercial, but always have the giving back as the foundation of the business. And some of those proceeds will go to helping the community, giving back to the community. And it's not just the local communities, communities at large, right? Whether it be here in New York, whether it be nationally or, you know, throughout the world, you know, wherever there's a need, you know, and I'm led to go, I'll go. One of those places that I went to was the George Floyd Memorial, right? I went there last year, June, drove through 7 states. And when I was going, there was a lot of concern because especially at that time you were dealing with social injustice issues. You know, you had the pandemic going on, this, that, and the other. So there was grave concern, but I know that there's so many different stories in the Bible where God has led people into enemy territory, into dangerous situations, and he has kept them. And when I felt that desire to go and I had the peace to go, I knew that I would be protected, right? So going down there was a mission in itself. And I wanted to go down there and see where this tragedy actually happened, right? And see
What
what's
was
going
that like?
on. It was really emotional. I ended up going on Facebook and kind of like showing people the George Floyd Memorial because, you know, after the media leaves, that's when you really get the truth. That's when the community still has to deal with what's going on there, right? And it felt, at first I felt real heavy. You felt the heaviness of what happened. And I just cried uncontrollably, cried because you felt, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. It was so heavy. But at the same time, after I came out of that heaviness, I saw people gathering and talking, people of all different races coming together, talking, reconciling. You know, they had different churches out there, different ministers, different, you know, people just, and, you know, they will have like mini concerts out there at the memorial and stuff like that. And you just saw people just coming together. And I would just keep going out there every day. And I was out there for like 5 days, and I stayed up like 3 days baking, you know, and took 658 bread down there, and gave out some at the George Floyd Memorial. And somebody saw me on Facebook because a pastor was interviewing me my first day I got there, and they saw me on Facebook and say, hey, there's a food distribution going on at a Kmart parking lot this Saturday. You know, maybe you want to go over there, you know. And I went over there and stayed there and gave out some food over there as well, you know. And end up the news was there, and then I end up being on the news there as well in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, right? And to the point where I went back to the George Floyd Memorial later on, and this lady says, I know you. And I said, yeah. She said, yeah, I just saw you on the news, you know. And she and I had a conversation, you know, and I was just walking out there, you know, giving out bread. I was out there, you know, my girlfriend came along, you know, with me, and we were out there just giving out bread, you know, and making sure that, you know, we can spread some kind of cheer throughout that tragedy that took place.
That's so true.
You know, that is, you know, deeply appreciated. How much does like a banana bread go for? I mean, people want to, if somebody say, okay, you know, I want to purchase 10 for donation, or I want to purchase 10 for myself to help your cause.
So the banana bread, I sell them in half dozen and dozens. So 6 is for 30, 12 is for 50. You know.
I'm sorry, say it again. I didn't hear you.
6 mini loaves for $30, 12 for $50.
Okay.
Right. And go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, and so, you know, I sell. So we have banana bread, we have banana chocolate chip, we have banana peanut butter chip, we have sweet potato, you know, bread, and you know, we sell those through social media, word of mouth, until such time as I feel led to just open the floodgates and start selling it full time.
All right. There are a couple of comments on here. In your opinion, how important is? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joanne. Horace just made a comment and put it on screen so you can get that. Before Joanne, Dr. Brian, read this just to let you know that you're joining us right here on The Village at 92.1 GD Radio, on Facebook at Roderick F. Daly, Joanne, Brian, and Tawana St. Paul, Andre Doman, and join us on the group, The Village Talk Show. That's we're going to get you the right link for that so you can become a member of our Facebook group on the Village, on the YouTube at the Village Talk Show. Right? You can send us an email at thevillageshow30@gmail.com. Again, that's village, not without the thought, just villageshow30@gmail.com. Just a reminder that the Village Talk Show is dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping you to realize in your dreams at any age, any point, starting from today. Success is not just spoken, it is done. Our guest right now, Sean Reynolds, is doing something that, just being led by God, by his philanthropy, by his altruism, to do something. And when COVID came about, he was able to do that. And you can also help with the support. So Sean, I'm gonna tell you up front that I want my order banana bread that can help your cause as well, because I value what it is that you're doing. So make sure that I get my half a dozen banana bread. I didn't hear you. And then give us the link again so you can put up on the screen, so that Andre can put up on the screen for that. So go ahead, Joanne, with the questions.
It actually, hold on 1 second. I'll be able to tell you. 1 second.
You said you wanted the link. Go ahead.
In your opinion, the question was, in your opinion, how important is it to be passionate, because it was another part, about your servanthood and what you are doing, or is it not much of a factor?
Oh, being passionate is the foundation. Without passion, what sense does it make to do it? You're not driven if you don't have passion to do it. So my passion is what drives me on a daily basis. It's what drove me to do what I'm doing now. Because my passion is people.
Mm-hmm.
And my purpose is to make sure that those people who are in need are assisted. And it's just that simple for me. It's not this whole big to do. It's about me being passionate. It's about me being having purpose, and it's about me wanting to inspire other people to do something. A lot of times people don't find or figure that they haven't found their purpose in life. But I tell you one thing, that your purpose and your passion should be helping someone else.
Say that again, please.
Your purpose and your passion should be helping someone else.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it's not truly your passion or your purpose.
It's selfishness. And
exactly.
Right. Your daughter Tanzania said
love that.
So
love
you
that.
read what my girl Tangi wrote. I'm gonna give you the honor of reading your thing out to the audience out there who are listening.
My dad Sean gave me the ambition to go out and help the community I'm in with helping the less fortunate who can't afford or make ends meet.
How does that make you feel that you actually that support is coming from within? How does that make you feel?
Listen, at the end of it, somebody got to carry the mantle after me. And as much as I'm trying to inspire everybody else, I want to inspire my kids.
There you go.
To make sure that I set the example for them to see what we should be doing, and to use whatever platform you have for good, not to exploit it, but to use it for good, and thank you, Tanja. I really appreciate that,
of dad, the
Yes.
true definition of being a dad. And since we're just finishing the celebration of fatherhood, she just reminded you that
Yes.
that on a daily basis is the true definition of her
Right.
being blessed with you.
Right. Thank you, Tangie. I really appreciate that.
So give us that information again, so we put it back up so that people can have
All
it.
right. So they can email orders
Hold on, pause for 1 second. Let my producer get it up. Guide orders
at brooklynbananabread.com, or they can go to Facebook or Instagram and put at Brooklyn Banana Bread and hit me up in the in my inbox there.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been joined by Sean Reynolds, a local guy right here from Brooklyn, who's doing great things to help people, led by God, led by
Love.
led by love, led by his passion, led by whatever you want to call it, whatever's gonna drive you to do the things that he's doing to help. Again, not what he's doing, but what it is that you want to do. Let me correct myself. What you want to do to help other people. You could go out and help them purchase some banana bread if you want to donate, even if you want just for yourself, and bring it back in. You want to bring it, and you don't have to be in Brooklyn, by the way, right? Am I correct?
No, you have to be in Brooklyn. We ship all over the country.
There you go. So you don't have to be in Brooklyn. Ship all over the country, get your banana bread. And I could attest that the banana bread is lovely. When I wasn't eating, when I wasn't eating last year, he gave me the banana bread. I ate it, my kids ate it, but I knew I was eating it because at that point, I really, there were so many things I couldn't take in. And so that banana bread, so Sean, I do need some more banana bread at my house. Just hint, right? So
listen, I'm definitely baking tonight. So,
all right, good.
I have one last question for you. Who actually taught you how to make banana bread? Was it Mommy?
Mama, he said. Won't you listen?
No, that's Mommy recipe, but it could have been Grandma.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's mom. It's mom.
Okay.
And for me, it was more than just donating, but donating a quality product.
I like that.
And because you can donate anything, right? But it's just like, I've had clothing drives and people have donated clothes, and I've gotten so much clothes that I've thrown out some of those clothes because they were not good, and if I'm attaching my name to anything, then it has to be good, so it's not just about donating, but donating a quality product that people will enjoy and that will feed their soul.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank Joe. You had a follow-up question? Because our next guest is here.
I had someone who said Brooklyn Stand Up Community Impact. Big up from Florida. So
right, big up. There you go. Awesome work, my brother coming from Annette Hall, in Brooklyn, and our former principal,
Mr. G.
Yeah, Mr. G says good work, Sean. So appreciate.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Sean. Thank you so much for joining us in the village.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, brother. Anytime for you. And continue those strong prayers that you have for me. Continue the prayers and the work that you're doing in the community. God will ever and forever shine his light on you. I believe strongly that anything that you do will always prosper, because your love, your passion, your heart, and the will of God is in it. So there's nothing, I don't see anything that you do that will not come to fruition. So God bless, man.
God bless you both. God, thank you. I appreciate it.
Coming on.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
Right.
Take care. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sean Reynolds joining us right here on The Village, doing what he's doing to help out the community through Brooklyn Banana Bread, brooklynbananabread.com. All right. So our next guest is, and he just called me up today, and he's a lawyer, so he's having a little thing going on this weekend, right? This Saturday.
Correct.
Talking about law. Joanne doesn't even know all of that. She's actually shocked. Like, who's that? She doesn't even know because I didn't tell her nothing yet. Right? I didn't even get a chance to. So she's like shaking her head. I don't know. But Carl Forbes Jr. is an attorney right here in Brooklyn, but he's having a workshop this week. And I thought that what he was doing, along with partnering with Assemblyman Nick Perry of the 58th, so what they were doing this week, and I thought that it would be a good opportunity for him to get a couple of words out and tell us a little bit about him, what motivated him as well. Take it away, Junior. I call him Junior, but his name is Carl, you know.
Good evening, everyone. Roderick, thank you. Dr. Bryant, pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to be on the Village Show. I'm Carl Forbes Jr., President-elect of the Metropolitan Black Bar Association. Appreciate the opportunity. I think it works in the fact that we're in election season. One of the things we started to do as the Black Bar is try to connect further with our elected officials, but we wanted to do it a little differently. So back in September, I launched a program called Brunch and Learn with Your Elected Official. What we try to do is learn more about our leaders, our politicians who we've put into office. We hear a lot about legislation and their political positions, but we don't know a lot about them and what their roles actually do. So we launched back in September with Senator Jamal Bailey, and we've done a series of programs via Zoom because of the pandemic, but we're concluding our bar year, which ends at the end of the month this Saturday, with a one-on-one talk that I'll be moderating with Assembly Member Nick Perry, an opportunity to learn about why he got into politics, his background migrating to the U.S. From Jamaica, joining the U.S. Army, things that a lot of people don't know, but we can learn more about what motivates our leaders. And as the largest predominantly Black Bar Association in New York State and the largest regional affiliate of the National Bar Association, which is the largest Black Bar Association in the country, we are always looking for programs like this and opportunities to connect with programs like the Village Show and others to talk about the law, problems affecting the community. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you both a bit about what we've been doing and what we're doing Saturday. And of course, going forward, advocating for our community, being a resource for our Black attorneys, promoting the pipeline, pre-law students and law students through the Bar Association.
So going back, I don't know if I missed all of that comment, but tell us a little bit more about the Metropolitan Bar, because I know there are a lot of different bar association. What makes that different from the Black Bar Association? And we've been having a series of conversations with the Caribbean Attorney Network, CAN, with Renee Kendall. And so she, you know, because we want to bring to our community law, right? And understanding the law, because a lot of things that are happening that we are not necessarily aware of. And so tell us a little bit what makes it different, if not different, you know, whatever the conversations of Metropolitan Bar Association. Is it a Black bar thing, or is it, you know, just an attorney overall, and so forth and so forth?
Yeah. So it's a professional association. We don't do legal representation directly like the Legal Aid Society might do. We're not a lawyer referral service. We're a space for Black attorneys to come together and support one another. We're one of the older minority bar associations, having formed in 1984 from a merger of smaller, not necessarily smaller, but separated Black Bar Associations, being the Harlem Lawyers Association and the Bedford-Stuyvesant Lawyers Association. Those two associations merged and created the Black Bar Association, the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, almost 40 years ago. And a few years ago, the Bronx Bar Association merged into the Metropolitan Black Bar. So, Roderick, as you pointed out, there are other groups, the Caribbean Attorney Network. There's the New York City Bar Association, the Brooklyn Bar Association. We all have a space. We all have a role. We all come together at times, but there are different avenues for us to focus on. And the Metropolitan Black Bar Association sort of looks at ourselves as more of an overarching, right? We're focused on a lot more programming, doing CLEs, which is continuing legal education, doing community clinics, providing free legal services where we can, or where we can partner with certain organizations like Mobilization for Justice, for instance, that does legal clinics related to the New York City Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings. Some of the other groups will focus more on networking, more on personal support, where we're a little bit broader, I would say, as an organization, but we all come together and work together as we find fit.
And on a personal level, what made you, you know, and I think this question I really want to ask. You're an inner-city Black man, right? You're and you decided to tell us, where did you go to school? Where did you grow up? Because I want, you know, one of the things that we, Dr. Bryant, myself, and John, and oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, please excuse John. He had a meeting that he had to attend to, so, you know, he will not be able to join us for the remainder of the evening. So I just want to make sure that I had forgotten. He did let me know to inform everyone that he, you know, apologizes, but he's going to be missing for a little bit. But one of the things is to let our, especially our young persons of color, and we're going to be doing a series with young people to let them, you know, to say, listen, you know, you could make it. You could do what you need to do. So tell us, give us some background. Tell us where you're from and all that stuff.
So I'm a Brooklyn kid, born and raised in Brooklyn, grew up in Brownsville and Canarsie, currently still live in Brooklyn and East Flatbush. Went to Binghamton University for undergrad and Columbia for law school. Law school really came about. I argued a lot as a kid. I had a temper. And
by the way, he argues a lot. He argued a lot as a kid and still argues as an adult. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I learned the fact that you know, there were no lawyers in the family. Not many who had went to
college. That's
right.
It's just you and Terry, and it was just you and my
right.
sister.
Exactly. And so your sister was a big motivation for me in terms of seeing someone 5 or so years or 7 years or so older than me become an attorney. And
I wasn't that old, man. She was 79. She was born in 79. She was 5 years.
Yeah. Six.
Yeah.
I was close at 5 to 7. There we go. You know, and so her influence, but also for me, funny enough, it was the O.J. Simpson trial and seeing Johnny Cochran, and I fell in love with the courtroom and the fact that I could channel my arguments into a constructive way. So got into high school.
Don't fit, you must acquit.
There you go. Right. I went to high school that had a law program, a mock trial courtroom.
Where did you go?
Sheepshead Bay.
Okay.
And joined debate team and just fell in love with advocacy. And
wait, go back. You said you joined mock trial, right?
Where did you go?
In high school, you joined a club that was part of your interest. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So you're asking our young people to join clubs that spike or spook or whatever the right expression word is, your interest, because it can go a long way. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
All right, I just want to make sure.
I mean, and
a lot of kids just go to school and don't want to be participating in extracurricular activities and don't see the value of them. But you weren't a law student out of high school, but you did things that it made you more interested in the law. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. No, exactly. That is. And my high school had a law program, so we actually graduated with the law certificate. We got paired with attorney mentors through a program called iMentor.
And this is a New York City public school.
Yeah.
Sheepshead Bay.
I just want to make sure that people, Carl, I know you understand why I'm emphasizing these things, because people have to understand that you can get great things out of your school if and only if you apply yourself, right? I'm sure I don't remember you being the valedictorian. Not that you didn't graduate.
I was not.
Right, but and the reason why I'm saying that to people is like, you don't have to be the valedictorian to be successful, right? Am I correct? Or
You're correct. I believe in being more well-rounded. So what I was going to add is I did a lot of extracurriculars, right? I was in band, played the saxophone in band, played on the baseball team, was in drama club, so did some acting and theater, a lot of things that I don't do anymore, but they help shape me. They help me figure out the things I did like, the things I was good at. And drama club, for instance, the theater helps in terms of courtroom advocating. Courtroom is drama, right? That was the thing that sort of attracted me to
I
it.
like that connection.
So you certainly you figure it out, and those are the formative years where you have that opportunity to figure it out. So try. You'll discover things you might have not realized you'd like. I think I heard you say earlier when I was listening that people say they don't like things they've never tried. How do you know? Right.
That is true. Now, mock trials. Did you guys compete with? Did you go to NYU? I know you mentioned Chief Bay, but did you guys have to do something with NYU?
What do you mean by that? Like a conference or something, or a final debate?
No. There's a lot of. I know when I was in high school, they had mock trials at NYU, and we had to study, and we had to go and do it in the courtroom. Did you have to do the same thing as well? Present your case.
So ours wasn't in a competition like that. It was in the school. Right? The school actually had a courtroom, a mock courtroom. So we did everything within the school. But I am familiar now as an attorney with programs like that, and have worked with students. When I was working at a prior law firm, we'd work with students from Francis Lewis High School in Queens on mock trial, but they competed in a competition run through Fordham Law School and American University School of Law. And some of them even got the chance to compete internationally at The Hague. And so there are a lot of great programs out there for students who are interested in some exposure to the law. And that's one of the things we try to do at the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, is find those opportunities to partner our attorneys with pipeline students, high school, pre-law, college, law students, and really impact the pipeline of people becoming attorneys, because there just aren't many of us Black attorneys in the profession.
I know that a couple weeks ago we did have a judge come on. She mentioned that that a lot of attorneys do not want to go into surrogate, the surrogate aspect. Would you say that you find the same to be find it to be the same, and what can you do as a whole with the Metropolitan Law to try to get more young people involved with surrogacy?
So I practice in surrogates court.
Wow. Say that again.
I'm a real estate as well as trust and estates attorney. So I do estate planning, estate administration, and litigation. Surrogates court is very different than civil court or Supreme Court, especially you're dealing with people's estates. They've lost loved ones, the disputes that can arise there. But I think the bigger thing is, especially for minority attorneys, is what tends to happen is there aren't many of us, and most of us end up being the cream of the crop. Not necessarily valedictorian, but well-rounded, do quite well. And what happens is, especially if you go to a school like Columbia or some of the top schools that cost a lot of money, you get pushed into big law, as we call it, the large law firms, large corporations. And I did spend a number of years in my career working for a large law firm. I also worked for the city of New York and now run my own practice. But what you find is that most people don't go into practices that allow them to practice in surrogates court or some of these smaller courts. They're more so working in large firms on large cases in federal court. And so part of what we're trying to do at the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, we restructured our committee sections and divisions to be more broad in terms of highlighting the fact that solo and small firm attorneys make up the majority of attorneys in the country. It's something like 80% of all lawyers actually practice on their own or in smaller firms. And to make it more attractive, the fact that you can do well, both for yourself and the community, practicing in that way. The other thing we did recently was we made our membership free for all law students and pre-law students so that they get the exposure to attorneys as well as the organization early on. They can make connections that will benefit them when they actually start their career. Because once you start your career after graduating law school or even in law school, what happens is you have to focus there. And so you don't have as much time to network. And so if you can make that relationship building earlier on, it will carry you and benefit you that much further.
So Dr. Brian has a question from one of your classmates.
Says, good evening, everyone. How would a student find out about these resources? Who should they contact?
So go to mbbanyc.org. We have
Hey, slow down. Slow down. Wile E. Coyote.
mbbanyc.org, the website for the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, or just Google.
So basically saying there's a Metropolitan Black Bar Association,
Right.
NYC, right? The initials?
Right. Exactly.
So MBBA.
NYC.org.
Okay.
We have a community resources page. You can also, the New York City Bar Association, the New York State Bar Association, many law schools will have resource pages also.
No, but I think Denise is a very good friend of mine and yours. She's your classmate, and she deals with students, right?
Yeah.
And so I think she's looking for something a resource that she can use for her school. Maybe contact one of her COSA person to be able to. I think that's more as very specific. How can she get out to your pro? Do you come into schools and let's say they want to do a mock trial? What can you do to help motivate students who might be interested in law and bring it into the program? Am I catching you correctly, Denise, or no? Just let me know if I'm going up the wrong tree, or that's something that you're thinking about. That because we bring a lot of program into schools, because a lot of young people have to know. All right, did you put up MBBA? Right, mbbanyc.org. A lot of young people. We really want, at the onset of the show, we're talking about all the violence that's happening in New York City, and a lot of young people get caught up. Right, they get caught up with not being able to have anything to do, and some of them are extremely innocent. Look at the two kids, and that has nothing to do with this. But those two kids who got caught up in that gun violence. But the person who was being shot at,
right,
and the person that did the shooting, both of them were younger than. I mean, they were younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
When they showed a profile, like the person doesn't look like he was more than 24, 23, 24. So at that point, had they maybe at high school level,
steered the right direction.
We're steered in the right direction. I mean, Denise and I, we did some programs under the leadership of our former principal, did some things to help the young ladies to form businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's looking at. I think that's important. So how would a school be able to do something like that?
Yeah, connect with us, right? Well, we're always looking for opportunities to partner with various organizations, schools, the community. Let's have a conversation about where we can find. We don't formally right now have, for instance, a mock trial program where we can come into school, but that's something I've actually talked about with my wife's an administrator for a school, and we've often talked about setting up a mock trial or moot court program. And so let's have that conversation, learn more about where the need is, and find a way to work together.
And one of the things is also to be certain, and hopefully my friend Lanique is listening, because she does Career Day, and I'm sure you guys go out and do Career Day, right, at schools.
Absolutely.
And that's actually very, very important. One of the things when I did Career Day, nobody was allowed to come in and talk about jails and what it's like to be in prison and all that. That was not allowed in my school, because I feel like the inner city kids don't see more people like you, me, and Joanne. They hear a lot more about the scared tactic of being scared straight, but don't tell it the other side, right? It's like, it's funny, Joanne. I don't know if you ever had this conversation when you were teaching, and the conversation, people always tell the kids all the rules about what they shouldn't do in school. But how many times do you actually spend the time to tell kids what they should do in school?
Right.
They know what not to do, but why are they still failing? These are the expectations. Study when you go home. You study in a lit room. You do not study on your bed. You study at a desk, because that's where you take a test. Nobody takes a test on their bed. Nobody takes a test with their headphones and listening to music. So you want to make your study piece as close to what it should be for school as possible. Set your homework time, because if you're taking your bar, right, it's a specific time. You can't just haphazardly say, well, I think I'll go take my bar at 3:00 and then I'll stop for at 3:30 and go back at 5:00. And, it's structured, right? So, I believe in telling them the do's and not the don'ts. I mean, you could include some of the don'ts, but the do's are far more important.
No, I absolutely agree. And one of the points you made, one of the things we try to do is introduce young people to attorneys outside of the courtroom, outside of being involved in the justice system, right? That's where a lot of young people first meet an attorney. And we want to show them that there are many of us that are not there, and you don't have to end up there, and try to impact. So one of the things we've done is an annual backpack drive, just young elementary, middle school students, giving them backpacks and talking to their parents about our organization, what we do as attorneys, and to just show them we're here, right? We actually exist, because a lot of people never meet an attorney because they have no reason to, or when they do, it's for a negative situation as opposed to the positive, to your point about talking about what you should do instead of what you shouldn't in school or what you shouldn't in the community, etc.
Do you guys do internships, shadowing, those kind of things? Do you guys do internship? So, if a young person who's in high school or in college, I mean, I don't know if you guys do, I know that you guys can partner with the Summer Youth Employment to get some young people who are interested in law to come and work at your various law firm, because it's an association with lawyers in there. But is that something that they are willing to say, okay, if you're doing Summer Youth Employment, we would like to have about 25, 30 kids who have not just want a summer work, but who are interested in law? And this actually can go back to Denise. I know it might be a little bit late right now, but maybe for moving for next year, that's something you could do. Our Jermaine, my brothers, or anybody who at their principal to do that. Do you guys offer those things? Or even throughout the school year, do you offer externship, internship for young people who are interested in law?
So given that the association is for the professionals, we don't specifically, because we don't have the legal work, but we certainly can identify members who would sign up for those opportunities at their various law firms and organizations.
I think that should be part of the agenda. How many people would, because I do know a couple superintendents and deputy superintendents who I think would love to be able to partner, especially in communities of color where the violence and the graduation rate and all those negative components are pretty high.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, I would say that Transfer High School is a great place to actually consider, because many of those kids are overage and many of them are under credit. So having
one important thing, Joanne, on that, and I don't want you to leave this part out, that they might also feel that they don't have that opportunity and not realizing
that's exactly. So having an organization like yours to partner with the high school, because that was one of the concerns and needs. They didn't have enough organization that would supply or work with the kids as much as they would like. So having that will trigger them into maybe business development, maybe going into law school, and that at a older age is so important, so important. Having the opportunity to work for Transfer High School, that is imperative, that they need to see that influence along that stage. Yes, we're not giving up on them. We're not going to say, hey, you know what? No. Yes, you might not get certain things that you want, but changing at a later stage rather than not doing it at all is better than anything.
Right.
So definitely that would be great. If any of the Transfer High School superintendents would partner with you all, that would be great.
Olivia says to you, like, it sounds like you could use some PR. She's a publicist.
We can talk. I said we can talk.
All right. So he said, what MBBA NYC.org, and ask specific for call, or you could go for their MBBA at MBBA NYC.org, and you could say, hey, I listened to you call on the radio, and that's it. So tell us the original reason to bring on Carl Forbes Jr. attorney. Do you go by Esquire attorney Carl Forbes Jr.? Which one do you go by?
Carl is fine.
Yeah, I know. But in terms of introduction, I get that. But in terms of introduction,
Attorney works.
attorney. So I'm talking to attorney Carl Forbes Jr. He'll be having an event this weekend, this Saturday, I believe it is, the 26th.
Correct.
That he's partnering with, having a conversation with Assemblyman Nick Perry, and it's a series that they do to talk to elected officials about giving people some idea of where they started from, right? As an elected official, and so that will be Saturday. Can you pull up? You're gonna be able to pull up the flyer. So we're gonna put up flyer. So tell us the time, location, all that good stuff.
Saturday, 11 a.m. via Zoom. You may register at our website, mbbanyc.org. We're hoping our bar year ends June 30th.
Let's go what, the brunch and something?
Brunch and learn with your elected official.
So they need to provide their own brunch.
That's right. Though we do have a brunch cocktail suggestion, a porch time. I'm not sure what that is. I've never had it.
Banana bread.
I was just, Joanne, I was actually just thinking that, hey, they could call Sean up and have some banana bread.
There we go.
Yes.
What's the thing you just mentioned? Porch time?
Porch time. Our PR team, our communications team who put together a flyer has selected a cocktail for everyone.
And make sure it's on the Facebook page. So you can link the Facebook page as well. Put it up there.
So, but what we're hoping, as we're moving out of the pandemic and into getting back in person, that when the bar year starts up again in September, or we start programming again, that we can do an actual brunch and learn with your elected official in person.
Because they create an audience, like a backyard. You could always use MySpace or any space that have a backyard.
My team will kill me because they say everything I want to do in Brooklyn, and we try to. We're more active than anybody.
No, but it's a suggestion. So what you do is the 5 boroughs. I'm giving you a location that's free, right? That you can set up.
We love free.
Yeah, free is good. Right?
As the association, we love free.
Right. So you have my backyard. You set up some tables, talk to the elected officials, and a physical brunch and learn that people can actually come to. You can set up in different boroughs for the different boroughs with different individuals to talk about the topics and as you do things like that. No, Anji, I was asking about this flyer that he sent me. Can we get it up on screen or no? We don't have enough time for that. We don't have enough time? Okay. All right. So, but it just connected to our Village Talk Show Facebook. What's the Facebook page is, actually you could just type in the Village Talk Show, it'll show up. But the physical name of the Facebook page, the Village Radio Talk Show, and then it will come up. Right, the Village Radio Talk Show on Facebook, and you'll see it. So you can just make sure it's attached. I'm actually going to try to zoom in on it as well.
So the conversations, I want to review just a little bit. The conversation you're having this week is with Assemblyman Nick Perry. But earlier in this year, you had conversation with who? What were some of the politicians that you actually heard on?
We had Senator Roxanne Prasad, Assembly Member Alicia Hyman, Senator Robert Jackson, Senator Jamal T. Bailey. So, and then we're concluding with Assembly Member Nick Perry, and we hope for the next bar year that we can fill every month in advance and get a.
So I'm going to throw out my cousin out there as well. Can we get another series with Congresswoman Yvette Clarke?
We certainly can.
So let me know. Let's make that connection.
We'll do.
I'm sure she would love to do it.
Oh, you just making schedule for people? I love it.
Listen,
I'm his big brother, so
that's exactly what we want, right? We want people engaged who want to help us in doing this. We serve as the resource for the community to get this exposure, and we can't do it all. So I appreciate it already.
No problem. How's my little niece?
She's good.
She's good.
She's growing too fast. I have a newborn. She's 6 weeks old, and so
wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Seeing her personality develop already is amazing.
Mm-hmm. And wifey?
Wife is good. She's doing really good.
So just like Roger threw in a suggestion, I'm gonna throw in a suggestion for you for the next quarterly startup. Maybe you can have some of your students ask the question instead of the attorneys.
Agree.
So
I like it.
Yeah, and reach
Yes,
out.
I'd rather be in the background. I don't need to be the one. So,
like you said, public drama is for
Do you have Denise's number? You do have Denise's number, right?
no,
Farkas.
you'll give it to me. You'll give it to me.
All right.
Oh no. I think I do actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't, I obviously
Yeah.
I have like 3 principals right away that would love that opportunity what Joanne just suggested, because really kids who are interested in law and high school kids. And
Yeah.
where Joanne and I are, the village, right? The entire village unit want to see our students survive. I know,
yes.
Yeah.
you know, Edward Gentile who's on it. You know, we love our kids. We love what we did, and what we're doing for students of you know, to ensure that they're getting what they need done.
You know, one thing I'm gonna say, I love the fact that your organization doesn't only target high school students, but also elementary with the parents, middle school kids, so you can target them at a younger age, and also high school so that they can make a decision.
Mhm.
So the younger that you catch them, the earlier you catch them, that conversational piece with the parents on making sure that every time they see the legal system is not a negative stigma is important, that we drill that in, that it's not a negative thing. Politicians are not negative things. Police officers are not negative things, and that we could work as a whole community, as you know, as one big happy family overall. So changing that dynamic and changing that mindset is important to start at a younger age, and then we work our way up.
Start teaching the growth mindset concept. Carl, we want to thank you for this little information. Again, you can join them on Zoom and just link in at mbbanyc.org to hear the talk. And the Zoom message, make sure to link it to us as well. Link it to me, Carl. I'll put it on the group, and whoever can join will get on it on the Zoom call. And so it's a pleasure to just a brunch chat with Assembly Member Nick Perry from the 58th here, West Indian man. West Indian man.
Member too, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, so you know, and have that kind of conversation with them as well.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right. God bless. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just had on the air Carl Forbes Jr. Same person? Carl Forbes Jr. We're just talking about a conversation within him and the Metropolitan Black Bar Association, what they will have. And very good. Please have your kids listening in, especially those who are interested in law. And you know, while you're doing it, you can order some banana bread from Brooklyn Banana Bread. .com was it, Andre, Joanne? Brooklyn Banana Bread. Which one? Com or bananabread.com, he said.
Oh, .com.
All right, so we can look at that and get it up. And so order some. Yeah, Sean said he was baking some banana bread tonight. Brooklyn Banana Bread. Yeah, brooklynbanabread.com. And on social media at Brooklyn Banana Bread.
Okay.
All right. And so, you know, get an opportunity to do that. So at the onset of the show, Joe, we were talking about some topics. One of them was defunding the police, and we both agreed that the defunding of the police concept only hurt communities of color. Greater, right?
Right.
Greater. Not that it doesn't affect any other community, but it hurt.
It affects everybody.
It affects everybody.
Everyone. All the quality of life of all New Yorkers, but it's not only New Yorkers, it's all over right now in the United States. So
Yes.
we're having a big problem with gun control. We're having a big problem with people, black crime. So it's not only you know, the police killing blacks, it's mainly we're killing each other. And we need to be more active, like you mentioned all the time. We need to protest when we're killing each other. There's no reason for it at all. We want to,
I like you just brought up. I people always get mad at me. Like I love me a lot of the. I think Al Sharpton has done a great job. Jumaane Williams. I mean, I'm talking about the local people, the certain amount of political people here in New York City. But I want to see them on TV, right? On TV, having the same bully pulpit.
No. They do.
No. So when they have it, I need for them to demand the media, right, to come out. Although they did show one yesterday about the guy, the young man, that 15-year-old cadet who got killed, but it was because the police was the one that was doing it.
Because he was
a cadet. It was an explorer.
Yes.
Right. Yes. But I'm just saying that I need to see that kind of rally. I need to see that kind of voice, right? That kind of voice out there. Get together, right? Go into these communities, set up blockade, unite with the police, unite with the community to talk about these violence. Can you believe? Imagine your two children, and we don't even know what the person did, and it doesn't even matter. So much hatred that you're like, I gotta wipe this boy out, and I'm gonna wipe him out in front, in the midst of two young people that had nothing to do with it.
They didn't care at all. There is
the 10-year-old boy that got killed in Far Rockaway a little bit over a month ago.
And like John said, the young man who got killed for a chain. Yeah,
he was an adult, but at the same time, he was still another young black man. He was driving his car. The car hijacked him, got killed. Right? I don't know if they pulled the plug yet. I know that there was on television that he was brain dead. He was. Let me not say brain dead. I don't know the full story, so I'm not gonna give no faulty news. But he was injured. He was shot, and his wife spoke about him in past tense because she was like, he's pretty much dead right now, as of the last time.
What's happening right now? People are creating or are committing senseless crime. For example, the young man who they beat him up for his sneakers.
Yeah,
sneakers,
that stupidness,
or whatever. Like, really, folks, it doesn't make sense. And the summer did not even start until now, this week. So, my God,
school is not out yet. So, a lot of these.
I'm nervous as a parent. I'm worried.
And knowing that you have to go to work and you have a 15-year-old, right, and a 13 and a 12-year-old, so you have this. You're nervous. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So you get really nervous about these things, right? So that's an issue. Another hot topic is immigration, right? Hey Troy, I'm sorry. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Facebook and wherever the media. I appreciate all of you hanging in there with us. We had some really good conversations today. Thank you for the comments. You guys can call in 718-841-9980 and talk it up. We have a couple minutes, and you are the guests, right? Yes. So the big things on immigration. There are a couple of hot topics, but immigration is one, and now I guess Kamala Harris, our Vice President Kamala Harris, was now kind of, I would say, forced into now going to the border. So immigration is on the forefront. And my understanding that there might be some good news coming up around immigration, and they're trying to work it out in Congress. But, again, a lot of our Republican counterpart thought that they were the only, that anybody was really born in America other than the indigenous people. So their foreparents came in to make, to try to make a difference.
Right.
Make a difference with the local community. I'm sorry, to make it, like, their parents come to make a local change for their families. And so now all of a sudden you're here, you're like, oh, nobody else shouldn't come. Yes. But you know what? My thing is, once you're doing the right thing, give that person the opportunity. If you're doing the wrong thing, get out. Right? If you're If you're one of those persons out there committing crimes, then you don't need to be here, right? You don't need to be here. I don't care where you come from, and I wasn't born here, so I don't care where you come from. If you're not doing the right thing, it's time for you to go. But if you're doing the right thing, let's make it right. People are just trying to. Nobody wants to see their family suffer.
That's true. That is true.
Right? Or I shouldn't say nobody, because nothing is ever 100%. Right?
Well, you don't want to see your family suffer. You don't want to see your friends or family suffer. Period.
Again, let's just say most of us do not want to see our family suffer. But remember, bad-minded people exist no matter what. Even the good thing that Sean is doing, some people are hating on him. Right. Think about that for a second. There are people out there hating on him. Oh, you think it's a goody two-shoes. Or you think it's this think it's that. I'm supposed to support him, right? You have that negative hater, right? So no matter what good you do, they always find somebody who
has something to say.
Yeah, or has something to say. Let me see what that comment of Troy. What was it? Let me see what I listened to what you Troy.
By the governing laws. Okay. You mean live by the governing?
Yeah, live by the governing law. Oh yeah.
So I also want to mention quickly that this weekend there is a Caribbean Heritage Month event happening at South Shore Educational Campus Saturday, June 26th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. 6565 Flatland Avenue entrance at Glenwood Road. It's a free event to celebrate Caribbean Heritage Month. Before we get off the air, I have to do this again. My wonderful niece and nephew have been blowing up my phone because they didn't hear the shout out. Jalen Pierre and Araya Pierre, shout out to you, my Orlando babies. I am so happy you are tuning in and watching us from. All right, Jalen and Araya, kisses from your auntie.
All right, real quick. Hey, Jaden and Araya. Hey, what's going on? We did that. We spoke about that briefly. The governor has lifted. And the people we're having this conversation today. What he said was, we no longer are in a state of emergency. Mm-hmm. Right? We're no longer in a state of emergency, but you still have to be careful about how you interact during the COVID. So all those people used to get the drinks and carry it outside. You can't do that no more.
No more.
You can't do it no more. That makes Joanne. That makes Joanne very happy about that. So I want to say happy birthday. Kudos to Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine Noble. Happy birthday. Michael James. Wow, Michael. Happy birthday. Marcia Francis. Craig Robinson, I haven't heard from you in a hot minute. Happy birthday. And my good friend Daphne Holness, happy birthday to you. Sarah Watson, happy birthday. Gemma, Latoya, David, Jason, my classmate, my football running back and baseball player from Amherst Town, happy birthday. Our producer is telling me to hurry up. NCAA has a new thing. Yeah, that's a big thing. We didn't get to touch on that. So maybe I don't know if we're going to be able to do that next week, where we have about 2 minutes left. We talked about the governor, edibles. We were talking about earlier that sometimes people get the edibles and it's just unfortunate.
Candies and cookies and all that good stuff. And
so according to Joanne,
marijuana.
All right, according to Joanne, who hate marijuana, she just want to tell you to watch your kids. Joanne has nothing nice to say about marijuana, so
listen,
we like that. Hey, you can't touch on it because my producer is telling our producer Andre saying that wrap it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure.
Yes, it has.
To join us today on Thursday on the Village Talk Show. It's all about you. It's all about the community. It's all about the information that you get. Remember, it's the Village, dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, started from today. Success is not just spoken, it is done. Make sure you're doing something to be successful and not just talking about it. Like Carl Forbes Jr. with the Metropolitan Black bar association, like Sean Reynolds, who opened up Brooklyn Banana Bread. And we also have to learn to support these individuals that are out there doing different things. God bless you. And thank you everyone who voted. Thank you everyone who voted. God bless you. Look out by July 12th for the final things. Any parting words, Joe?
Be safe out there and enjoy your summer.
And happy graduation. And what is this? Smoke?
Congratulations.
Oh, wait. Troy. By the way, this is coming for you.
That's not for me. That's not for me.
Smoke the herb, give thanks and praises. That's for you, Joanne. That's for you. That's for you. Happy graduation to all those students who just graduated.
Kindergarten.
And remember, Joanne talked about the summer camp from the DOE. Look into the access school. God bless. And I'm sick and tired of Andre raising his hand telling us I got to get off the air. So good night, one. Good night, all.
Good night.
God bless.